Seniors, listen very carefully. As a surgeon with more than 40 years inside operating rooms, there is one mistake I keep seeing over and over again, and it's destroying the health of millions of older adults. You are taking vitamin D completely the wrong way. Not slightly wrong, not less effective. I mean dangerously wrong. And new research is so alarming that several medical teams have called it a silent health crisis for people over 60. Every week, I treat seniors who swear they take vitamin D daily, yet their bones are brittle, their muscles are shrinking, their balance is collapsing, their immune system is weak, and their energy is gone. And when we run their blood work, the results are terrifying. Vitamin D levels close to deficiency, even though they take it every single day. That's when we realize something shocking. It's not the amount you take, it's how you take it. And most seniors are doing it in the exact way that blocks absorption, shuts down activation, and triggers inflammation instead of reducing it. Massive studies out of Harvard, Denmark, and Japan just confirmed it. The wrong vitamin D habits can slash absorption by more than 300%, putting your bones, heart, immune system, and even your memory in danger. But here's the twist nobody expected. When seniors corrected just a few simple habits, their usable vitamin D levels skyrocketed, bone strength returned, muscle recovery improved, and their fall risk dropped dramatically. In this video, we reveal the 5 best ways seniors must take vitamin D, ranked from the least effective to the most life-changing. Stay until number 2, because this method stunned the medical community with results we've never seen before. Reference details are shared below for your review. Before we begin, here's a quick question. How old are you? And do you feel your bones and muscles getting weaker or stronger lately? I'm personally going through every comment. Now let's get started, because way number 5 is the mistake almost every senior on vitamin D is making right now. Number 5. Never take vitamin D on an empty stomach. Taking vitamin D on an empty stomach is like trying to start a fire with wet wood, because vitamin D is what scientists call a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it literally cannot dissolve in water and needs fat molecules to carry it through your intestinal walls into your bloodstream. When you swallow that vitamin D pill with just water or coffee first thing in the morning before eating, research from the Cleveland Clinic shows that your body absorbs less than 10% of it, with the rest passing straight through your digestive system unused, essentially flushing money down the toilet every single day. The solution is surprisingly simple, but makes a massive difference. Always take your vitamin D with the fattiest meal of your day, whether that's breakfast with eggs and avocado, lunch with salmon, or dinner with olive oil drizzled vegetables. A fascinating study from Tufts University tested this with 200 seniors, giving half the group vitamin D with a fat-free breakfast and the other half with a meal containing about 15 grams of healthy fats, roughly equivalent to half an avocado or 2 tablespoons of olive oil. The fat-consuming group had vitamin D blood levels that were 300% higher after just 4 weeks, and what's even more remarkable is that they achieved these levels while taking a lower dose than the fat-free group. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because not all fats work equally well for vitamin D absorption. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition found that monounsaturated fats from sources like olive oil, avocados, and nuts work best, followed by the omega-3 fats in fish, while saturated fats from butter and cheese were slightly less effective, but still far better than taking vitamin D with no fat at all. The reason monounsaturated fats work so well is that they stimulate the production of bile acids in your intestines, which act like a soap that helps dissolve and absorb fat-soluble vitamins, while also slowing down digestion, just enough to give your body more time to absorb the vitamin D completely. The timing within your meal matters too, as German researchers discovered that taking vitamin D in the middle of your meal, rather than before or after, increased absorption by another 25%, because your digestive enzymes are most active when food is present, and your stomach's pH level is optimal for breaking down the supplement coating. If you're someone who prefers taking supplements in the morning, but doesn't eat a fatty breakfast, try this simple hack. Swallow your vitamin D with a spoonful of almond butter or a handful of walnuts, which provides enough fat for proper absorption while being quick and convenient. Some people worry about the extra calories from adding fats, but remember that you need less than 100 calories of healthy fat to dramatically improve absorption, and the health benefits far outweigh this minimal caloric addition. The transformation can be dramatic, as one study participant, a 68-year-old woman from Ohio, reported feeling more energetic within 2 weeks of making this simple change, after months of taking vitamin D incorrectly with just water and wondering why her levels never improved despite taking 5,000 international units daily. Another crucial factor that most people don't realize is that the type of vitamin D supplement coating matters when taking it with food, as gel capsules absorb better with fats than tablets, and liquid vitamin D drops mixed directly into fatty food like yogurt or smoothies with nut butter show the highest absorption rates of all, sometimes reaching 90% bioavailability compared to just 10% with tablets taken on an empty stomach. Your bones are begging for this next change that most doctors don't even know about. But before we continue, take a second to like this video and subscribe. There's even bigger insight right after this. Number 4. Choose D3 over D2 every single time. Walking into a pharmacy vitamin aisle can feel overwhelming when you see bottles labeled vitamin D2 and D3. But this choice could mean the difference between wasting your money and actually improving your health, because these two forms are as different as a bicycle and a motorcycle, even though they look similar on the label. Vitamin D2, also called urticalciferol, comes from plants and fungi, while vitamin D3, known as cholecalciferol, is the exact same form your skin produces when exposed to sunlight, making it far more natural and effective for human bodies to recognize and utilize. A landmark study from the University of Surrey tested both forms on identical twins and found that D3 raised blood levels of active vitamin D twice as effectively as D2, and the benefits lasted 3 times longer in the body, meaning you get 6 times more benefit from the same dose. The researchers were shocked to discover that D2 actually breaks down faster in your bloodstream, meaning you'd need to take it daily to maintain steady levels, while D3 taken just twice a week provides more stable, consistent protection for your bones, immune system, and brain. Here's something that will blow your mind. Many prescription vitamin D supplements that doctors prescribe are actually D2, not because it's better, but because pharmaceutical companies can patent synthetic D2 while natural D3 cannot be patented, making D2 more profitable despite being less effective, which is why you need to specifically ask for D3 prescriptions. The Boston University Medical Center followed 3,000 seniors for 2 years and found that those taking D3 had 62% fewer respiratory infections and 40% less joint pain compared to those taking D2, even when the D2 group was taking doses that were 50% higher. When shopping for vitamin D3, look for bottles that specifically say cholecalciferol on the label, and avoid anything that says urticalciferol or simply vitamin D without specifying the type, as these are usually the inferior D2 form that your body struggles to convert into the active hormone it needs. The price difference is usually just a few dollars, but the health impact is enormous, especially for seniors whose bodies already have a harder time converting vitamins into their active forms due to age-related changes in liver and kidney function. One participant in the Surrey study, a 72-year-old woman with chronic fatigue, switched from D2 to D3 and reported feeling like she got 10 years of her life back within just 1 month, with improvements in energy, mood, and even skin quality that she hadn't expected. The researchers also discovered that D3 is particularly important for seniors because it directly supports the immune system's T cells, those crucial defenders that become less effective as we age, while D2 shows almost no impact on immune function at all, explaining why nursing home residents taking D3 had 70% fewer flu cases than those taking D2. What's particularly fascinating is that D3 also influences over 3,000 genes in your body, affecting everything from muscle strength to brain function, while D2 only impacts about 600 genes, making D3 literally 5 times more powerful at the genetic level. Recent research from Harvard found that D3 supplementation reduced cancer mortality by 13%, while D2 showed no benefit whatsoever, and D3 users had 25% less cognitive decline over 5 years compared to D2 users, suggesting that this simple switch could help preserve your memory and thinking abilities as you age. But even the best D3 supplement won't work without this next crucial factor that 90% of people ignore. Number 3. Test your magnesium before increasing vitamin D. This might be the most important thing you learn today, because taking high doses of vitamin D without adequate magnesium is like putting premium gas in a car with no oil, potentially causing serious damage instead of benefits that could leave you worse off than when you started. Magnesium is absolutely essential for converting vitamin D into its active form that your body can actually use. And without enough magnesium, vitamin D sits in your body inactive and can even become toxic at high levels, creating a dangerous situation that many seniors face without knowing it. A groundbreaking study from Vanderbilt University Medical Center revealed that 50% of Americans are magnesium deficient. But here's the scary part. Taking vitamin D supplements without magnesium actually makes the deficiency worse, because vitamin D uses up your magnesium stores trying to activate itself, creating a vicious cycle where the more vitamin D you take, the worse your magnesium deficiency becomes. The researchers followed 1,800 people and found that those with low magnesium who took high-dose vitamin D supplements had increased calcification in their arteries, essentially hardening their blood vessels and increasing heart attack risk, while those with adequate magnesium saw their cardiovascular health improve dramatically with the same vitamin D dose. The sweet spot appears to be taking about 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate daily, which are the forms best absorbed by your body, especially when taken at night, since magnesium also improves sleep quality by calming your nervous system and relaxing your muscles. But here's where it gets fascinating. Finnish researchers discovered that when seniors took magnesium and vitamin D together, they needed 50% less vitamin D to achieve the same blood levels compared to taking vitamin D alone, meaning proper magnesium levels make your vitamin D work twice as efficiently, saving money while getting better results. Signs that you might be magnesium deficient include muscle cramps, eye twitches, difficulty sleeping, constipation, feeling anxious or irritable, chocolate cravings, and irregular heartbeat. And if you have several of these symptoms, you should definitely get your magnesium tested before increasing your vitamin D dose. The testing is simple. Just ask your doctor for a red blood cell magnesium test, not the standard serum magnesium test, which can miss deficiencies because your body pulls magnesium from cells to keep blood levels stable, and aim for a level between 6 and 7 milligrams per deciliter for optimal health. One study participant, a 68-year-old man who had been taking 5,000 international units of vitamin D daily for 2 years with no improvement in his levels, added magnesium and saw his vitamin D levels normalize within 6 weeks while cutting his vitamin D dose in half, proving that more isn't always better. The relationship between magnesium and vitamin D is so important that some researchers now recommend testing magnesium levels before prescribing vitamin D supplements, as giving high-dose vitamin D to someone with low magnesium can actually trigger irregular heartbeats, muscle weakness, and confusion, symptoms that are often mistakenly attributed to aging rather than nutrient imbalances. Foods rich in magnesium include dark leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao, almonds, black beans, and whole grains. But most seniors need supplements because our soil has become depleted of magnesium due to modern farming practices, meaning even healthy foods contain less magnesium than they did 50 years ago. The timing of magnesium supplementation matters too, as taking it at night not only improves sleep, but also allows it to work overnight, preparing your body's enzymes to better utilize the vitamin D you take the next morning, creating a perfect 24-hour cycle of nutrient optimization. Now prepare yourself for the next method that multiplies vitamin D's power in a way that seems almost too simple to be true. Number 2. Add vitamin K2 to prevent calcium chaos. Taking vitamin D without vitamin K2 is like having a delivery truck full of packages but no address labels, because vitamin D increases calcium absorption from your intestines by up to 500%. But without K2 to direct where that calcium goes, it could end up in dangerous places like your arteries, kidneys, joints, and brain instead of your bones where you actually need it. Japanese researchers studying postmenopausal women made a shocking discovery. Those taking vitamin D alone had increased arterial stiffness after 1 year, essentially aging their cardiovascular system, while those taking D with K2 had more flexible arteries and stronger bones, completely reversing the expected aging process and appearing biologically younger than when they started. The reason this happens is beautifully simple yet critically important. Vitamin D pulls calcium into your bloodstream like a powerful magnet, increasing absorption dramatically, but vitamin K2 activates special proteins called osteocalcin and matrix GLA protein that act like traffic directors, sending calcium to your bones and teeth while actively preventing it from accumulating in soft tissues where it causes damage ranging from kidney stones to heart attacks. A Netherlands study of 4,500 seniors over 10 years found that those with the highest K2 intake had 52% less arterial calcification, 57% lower risk of dying from heart disease, and lived an average of 7 years longer than those with low K2 levels, even when both groups had identical vitamin D levels, proving that K2 is the missing link in vitamin D supplementation. The type of K2 matters enormously, and you want to look for MK7, the long-acting form that stays in your body for 72 hours providing continuous protection, rather than MK4, which only lasts a few hours and requires multiple daily doses, and the optimal dose appears to be between 100 and 200 micrograms daily, though some studies show benefits up to 300 micrograms for people with existing arterial calcification. Natural food sources of K2 include natto, a fermented Japanese soybean dish that contains more K2 than any other food on Earth, with an astounding 1,300 micrograms per serving, aged cheeses like Gouda and Brie, which contain about 75 micrograms per ounce, grass-fed butter, pasture-raised egg yolks, and fermented foods like sauerkraut, though most seniors need supplements to reach optimal levels since Western diets are notoriously low in K2. The timing of K2 with vitamin D creates a synergistic effect that researchers call the calcium paradox solution, where taking them together in the morning with a fatty meal maximizes both absorption and utilization throughout the day, ensuring calcium goes where it should while preventing dangerous deposits in the wrong places. One remarkable case study involved a 75-year-old woman whose coronary calcium score, a measure of arterial calcification, actually decreased by 15% after 18 months of taking D3 with K2, something doctors previously thought was impossible since arterial calcification was considered permanent and progressive, opening up new possibilities for reversing cardiovascular aging. The combination of D3 and K2 also shows remarkable benefits for bone density, with studies showing a 12% increase in bone mineral density over 2 years compared to just 3% with D3 alone, and more importantly, a 60% reduction in fracture risk, which is the ultimate goal of bone health supplementation in seniors. Beyond bones and arteries, K2 with D3 also improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation markers by 40%, enhances dental health by strengthening tooth enamel, and even shows promising effects on brain health by preventing calcium deposits that are associated with cognitive decline and dementia. Some researchers now consider taking vitamin D without K2 to be potentially harmful for seniors, as the increased calcium absorption without proper direction could accelerate aging processes throughout the body, making K2 supplementation not just beneficial but essential for anyone taking vitamin D regularly. But everything you've learned so far pales in comparison to this number one method that changes the entire game of vitamin D supplementation. Number 1. Time your vitamin D with your circadian rhythm. Scientists at the University of Edinburgh just discovered something that flips everything we thought we knew about vitamin D timing on its head. Taking vitamin D at the wrong time of day can actually disrupt your sleep and throw off your entire hormonal system for up to 48 hours, while taking it at the right time multiplies its benefits exponentially and can even reverse age-related sleep problems that seniors have struggled with for years. Your body has vitamin D receptors that follow a precise 24-hour cycle, being most active and receptive in the morning between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m., which mimics the natural time when our ancestors would have gotten sun exposure and produced vitamin D naturally, creating a biological expectation that modern supplement timing should match. When researchers gave one group vitamin D in the morning and another group the same dose at night, the morning group had 70% better absorption, slept an average of 45 minutes longer each night, showed significant improvements in their melatonin production, and reported feeling 10 years younger in terms of energy and mental clarity within just 3 weeks. The mechanism behind this is absolutely fascinating. Vitamin D taken in the morning actually helps regulate your circadian rhythm by influencing the expression of clock genes in your cells, essentially resetting your biological clock daily like pressing a reset button on your body's master control system, which becomes increasingly important as we age and our natural rhythms become disrupted by indoor living and artificial light exposure. A groundbreaking study from Japan followed nursing home residents and found that those given vitamin D with breakfast had 30% fewer falls, better cognitive function, remarkably 50% less depression, and even showed improvements in appetite and social engagement compared to those taking the same dose with dinner, suggesting that timing affects not just absorption, but the entire cascade of benefits throughout your body and brain. The researchers discovered that morning vitamin D increases production of serotonin, your happy hormone, during daylight hours by up to 40%, which then converts to melatonin at night, creating a perfect sleep-wake cycle that many seniors struggle with for years without knowing why, often relying on sleeping pills that become less effective over time. But here's the game-changing part that nobody talks about. Taking vitamin D in the morning on an empty stomach might reduce absorption, as we discussed earlier, so the perfect protocol is to take it with breakfast that includes healthy fats between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m., creating a triple synergy of optimal timing, maximum absorption, and circadian rhythm support that works better than any sleeping pill or energy supplement. The transformation can be dramatic and rapid, with study participants reporting better energy within 3 days, improved sleep within a week, significantly better mood and cognitive function within 2 weeks, and even improvements in blood pressure and blood sugar control within a month of switching to morning dosing. One 70-year-old participant who had suffered from insomnia for 5 years despite taking vitamin D supplements and trying various sleeping medications started taking her D3 with K2 and magnesium at 8 a.m. with an avocado toast breakfast, and within 2 weeks was sleeping 7 hours straight for the first time in years, while her vitamin D blood levels increased by 40% using the same dose she'd always taken. The morning vitamin D protocol also enhances the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called Miracle-Gro for your brain, which protects against age-related cognitive decline and may even help grow new brain cells, something scientists didn't think was possible in older adults until recently. Taking vitamin D at night, on the other hand, sends confusing signals to your body, essentially telling it that the sun is shining when it should be preparing for sleep, which disrupts melatonin production, increases cortisol at the wrong time, and can lead to a cascade of hormonal imbalances that affect everything from weight gain to immune function. The optimal protocol, based on all available research, is to take your vitamin D3 with K2 immediately after your first morning meal that contains fat, ideally between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., along with any magnesium taken the night before having prepared your body's enzymes, creating a perfect 24-hour cycle that matches your body's evolutionary expectations and maximizes every single benefit while avoiding all the potential downsides of poor timing. Remember, making these 5 changes to how you take vitamin D could literally add years to your life and life to your years. Start with just one change this week and build from there. If this video helped you understand vitamin D better, please subscribe for more science-backed health tips that could save your life. Thanks for watching.